Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. This is a ninja, but you're really not supposed to know that because then that would defeat the whole purpose of, ninja, I guess, because you're not supposed to reveal your identity. Although I guess I just have Kent Nichols from Ask a Ninja is how you came on my radar years ago.
Sure.
And now you're working with Blip TV.
Right.
Helping content producers like myself and many others, even those who are quite popular on YouTube, publish their videos on their own websites and better monetize the content that they're creating. So you are a content producer helping content producers.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And
so I was pretty accurate with that description.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working as a content liaison over here at Blip, but I'm also still producing Ask a Ninja, and I also started a new crafting show called The Guilty Crafter. Just because it's a whole new kettle of fish now with launching a new show on the interwebs. Back 6 or 7 years ago, there was a lot less people doing video, especially, and now there's such a torrent of things going on out there. It's really interesting and fun to see what it's like to start up a whole new online property.
So how did you get started with Ask a Ninja? Here. Okay, go ahead. I'm covering your mouth and the top of your head so that people.
But I swear to God, I'm not the ninja. I swear to God, I've always been a geek behind the camera. Please, I can do my own. I can do a good impersonation, but the ninja would kill me if I was to credit. So me and my partner Douglas Ryan, we were just we were really curious about the online space. We felt the film festival model for getting your content produced and finding an audience was sort of getting played out, and we were really curious about what Rooster Teeth was doing with Red versus Blue and some other shows like that, and it really that seemed like it was a path to success, and it was before YouTube really, and I started working with the Rooster Teeth guys, and they had to basically create their own video delivery platform before there was Flash Video, and then Flash Video came along, and it was oh, that's clearly easy, and because you remember the reel player that you had to install, and it was such a pain in the ass, and all that sort of stuff, and then when the video iPod came out as well, that was oh, that's clearly going to become a huge player because the iPod is such a standard setter, and if it can play on the iPod, so really we were able to just launch something that was really funny, that utilized both the iTunes podcast directory as well as YouTube, and it really just took off.
So now you're going to be presenting at Gnomedex, specifically your background really is you're going to kind of how would you say, open the robe, open the kimono? I don't know. What's the official garb of the ninja?
It is a kimono made out of dragon skin. But yeah, right now, the biggest problem I think continues to be is how to find that new audience, and not only to find a sustainable audience or an army of true fans, as Kevin Kelly calls them, but also just to make it so you have enough momentum to make it to a season 2. So many of our shows here on Blip they're trying to do the narrative content where it's a single storyline, lasts for 6 or 8 or 10 episodes, and it's how can we help those sorts of new independent voices stick around so they're not in total bankruptcy, that they can find a fan base and then grow that fan base so people start to be fans of the creators themselves. And so the talk basically is the 10 Commandments of content. I've been working on it with the whole Blip content team here, which has been working in online video for the last 6 years as well. And so we're really trying to come up with some good practical guidelines to go into creating an online series with reasonable expectations, knowing that it's a long, hard slog, but if you can actually put these ideas of consistency, maximizing your resources in terms of what it takes to the cost of production, and then just like rolling out in a sensible, in a little business-like manner. Because before it used to be like you'd make your film, you'd go to Sundance, and you would pray that a distributor would swoop in and buy it from you, and you'd become a millionaire. And now like that was rare back in the day, and now like that doesn't exist at all anymore. And so it's just like how can you manage your expectations, keep going, and get to that season 2.
Despite there being an uphill battle for content producers today, because I remember the way it was back then. When video was new on the iPod as well, and not to date us further than we've already been dated. How can someone who hasn't really gotten started yet, or who's just gotten started, really get a foothold in a marketplace that's already saturated with not just content, but like in my arena, if I talk about technology, in any way, shape, or form, or anything geeky, there are a billion others lining up behind me, producing something similar. So I have a lot of people in my community who are asking, well, how can I be a tech content producer and really stand out amongst the other tech content producers?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, it's you have to have a strong point of view. You have to have strong video content, and that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the highest production value, but production value needs to be there. Yeah. Absolutely. You're a great case in point. Like you basically bring to all of your videos a really strong point of view and a great perspective. But it's not like the most revolutionary in terms of tech, and it's not even the most revolutionary in terms of the stuff that you're talking about. It's what does Chris Pirillo think about this? And you do that consistently, and and even now, like overwhelmingly consistently. Aren't you releasing multiple videos a day, and you're doing live streams, and so the cost per minute of you to produce a video is like, $5, $10.
If that, right.
Right, and versus even a live television show, like even Larry King Live, though that was fairly cheap to produce, they never had to pay the guests really. They were just paying Larry and some camera people, and the back, even that was in the, probably $10,000 per minute. Range of things. Wow. Cheap for TV shows, but astronomically more expensive than what's going on in a setup like yours. And then and so a lot of it is just that consistency, and then applying just basic web methodology of no one can tell what your video is by the video content itself right now. Like, it has to be keyworded. You have to write a great description. You have to have a great title. You have to have a great keyframe. Your thumbnail, basically.
Yeah, I suck at that. I suck at the thumbnail making. I've never perfected that.
Yeah, no, but like they're all just basic stuff, and a lot of the people that we deal with are like LA creative types, and like so. I was talking to one of our creators, and she was like, is it allowable in the tags to use like the same word but just slightly misspelled multiple times? And I was like, that's exactly what you should be doing. Like, really? Not only do you not need permission for that, that is expressly what you should be doing, is writing multiple things so people can find them in search engines. And
because we all know that people can't spell, so
right.
Generally.
Absolutely, and so you need to use all of those SEO tricks, and they're not even tricks; they're just best practices. And then as well as don't just basic stuff like if you're creating 10 promo things, don't drop them all in the same day. You're not because unless you can produce 10 a day for the 3 weeks running up to it. Like, if you're not a major studio, like, parse that stuff out. Like, make it a weekly drop or bi-weekly or whatever. Just use that consistency. Do the Twitter tricks of just building those Twitter audiences, because so many people myopically focus on YouTube as a platform, and it's a ginormous platform that you need to use to your benefit and profit as well. But if you're only focused there, there was just a big story last week of the bad lip reading guy got one of his videos killed because of a questionable, fair use thing by Universal Music. Yeah. And Lady Gaga gets her account killed because she uploaded a performance of herself that she didn't own the rights. There's problems, and there's nothing, YouTube has to be the repository of all of the world's video right now. Like, it's something like 45 hours per minute being uploaded.
Wow.
And so any one account is not their priority. Their priority is that global thing. And so you need to not only thrive there, but you need to thrive as a website, as an independent entity, and as a artist, finding those 1,000 fans, and and you can only do that by those sort of consistency stuff, and that's the main stuff that I'm going to be talking about.
So if you are one of those 1,000 true fans, you can like this video. If you like what Ken has done in the past, and certainly what Blip TV has done in the past, you can like this video. See, I've learned, this is what, some people are like, why are you asking to like the video? By asking in the video, yes, it drives up the amount of likes, just by me asking, will you like this video? By a factor of 500%.
Yes.
It's insane. So thank you for liking this video.
Right. Yeah. There's YouTube's put out there that content creators playbook, and all of those tips and tricks are battle proven. You've got to be doing all of that. But you've also got to attack it from. You've also got to look at it, from a macro perspective of, show and business, and you have to be serving your audiences, and driving them down that pipe to become, from a random viewer to an engaged viewer to a true fan, someone that's evangelizing, that's rapidly consuming whatever you're doing and supporting you financially and emotionally, and because if you don't have those fans, if you don't have that engagement, it's just, woohoo,
right,
great, I got that great viewer, Rebecca Black, Rebecca Black, her second video was doing great. So she whatever you may say about her talent or whatever, she was able to drive enough engagement to create people to watch the second video, and hopefully she'll find the third and fourth and whatever. Ultimately, the most value to her will be finding that core, 100,000 million fan base out of the 100 million views that she's received, or whatever.
It's very rare, to find someone who I would consider a true quote unquote fan, not just by what they do, but specifically their gestures beyond that. And I found probably more fans on Google Plus in an easier way than, YouTube's been great, Twitter's been great, Facebook's been great, but on Google Plus, anytime there's news about Lego, I will get tagged into it. Apparently today in Florida, a big Lego minifig washed ashore. So people were blaming me, saying, "Oh, Chris, I bet you were behind this." I'm like, "What?" So I get tagged into everything.
Right.
And when people can identify you for, yes, I produce content, you produce content, but beyond that, my general interest in Lego as a geek, as someone who loves building things, that to me is more along the lines of someone who is closer to that core group than just a random person who just doesn't think anything about what they're watching.
Right. Absolutely. And and it is not only you're much better served if you can have those multiple touch points, because if they're following you on Google Plus and Twitter and this and that, that means they are all over Chris Pirillo, and
you want to get all over Chris Pirillo, don't you?
Get all over Chris Pirillo.
Well, my girlfriend and my girlfriend's in the background. She's going. So nobody else except for my girlfriend, really. So yes, so you will be going into these tips even further and expanding upon them. We'll be streaming Gnomedex live on I don't know which service we're going to be using at that point, but we'll also have the video the presentation onto the YouTube channel so that people will be able to watch it, and we'll be sure to annotate and link over when that's ready.
Awesome.
Thanks for spending time with me virtually.
No problem. Thanks to you too. I look forward to actually being in the same physical space.
Have we not?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we've ever met that.
If we did, it's been like years and years and years. It's all virtual anyway. So, all right. Well, thanks again.
No problem, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep.